Supatipano yasa bhagavato savete sangho Dhammayam bhagavatam sadhamam sasanam Ime sakari yadhara arudite rabhipujayama Sadhuru bhante bhagava Sunjira Parini Bhutoti Pachima Janatanoga Vamanasa Ime Sakarim Dugata Panaka Prabhute Patitannato Ammadanti Dharata Yetaya Sukaya Aram Samma Sambuddho Bhagavan Buddhan Bhagavantan Abhivadi Swadam Tu Bhagavatam Namo Dhamman Namassami Supatipano Bhagavato Savete Sangho Sangham Namami Yam Buddha Samgavato Bhagavata Namakarindaro Mese Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Very good. Good to see everyone. So please now, everyone take a good posture, sit up well. And prepare to remain absolutely still for the next 55 minutes or so. So good posture, please. Body and mind alert. And you close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, you leave everything you've been doing, thinking about, worrying about, all of it behind. You put it down and you leave it. And you remind yourselves that past is past, future has yet to come. What do you have left right now? So try to keep your attention here and now. And we'll commence as usual by bringing to mind the Buddha and reminding ourselves of his great qualities, especially that perfect mind of his, a mind that was not only clear of any kind of corruption, but far distant, far away from any of it. A mind too of infinite compassion. A truly great being, perfect, in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you contemplate the Buddha and recollect these marvelous qualities, you should be inspired to do your best to follow in his footsteps and be like him. And reflect that to do that is to do yourselves an enormous kindness. Your practice really ought to be an expression of metta, of loving kindness for yourself. And you shouldn't be shy about learning to love yourself and being kind to yourself. This is not to be selfish, but to be wise and sensible. Care for yourself. Be kind, be understanding of yourself. Yes, you make mistakes, you're not yet perfect, but one day all that can change. So help yourself now to do better and to be better. And likewise, be understanding of others and be kind to them. And if you can help them, then help them too, to do better and to be better. And then we must take a moment or two to remind ourselves of the harsh reality of our human condition. That whether we like it or not, as we're living this life, time is passing and we are growing older. And there's nothing we can do to turn the clock back or to stop this process of aging. It can't be helped. This is the nature of our existence. And the same with ill health. We can try our best to lead a healthy life, but still, whatever we do, we may become unwell at almost any time. And absolutely nothing is going to prevent us from dying. One day, that will happen to each one of us and to all those we love, all those we don't love, everyone. All that lives must die. And these conditions are much of what we have to cope with. They're part of our suffering, or at least that's how we think of them. But really and truly, our suffering and our discontent comes from our minds. And so that we can do something about, even though we can't change these conditions. So right now, we're going to try and do something about changing our minds. So, check that you're still sitting up well. gather and concentrate your mind and direct your attention first to your body, your physical form. And be mindful and aware of the solid nature of this physical form as you sit ever so still. And recognize that within this physical form, there are fluids and various organs and parts, and the whole thing is suspended, is structured around a framework of bones. And within your physical form, you also have warmth and heat and air, which you are continually breathing in and breathing out. Now become mindful and aware of that. And however and wherever you feel or perceive the breath, fix your attention there. Now know each incoming breath and know each outgoing breath. Breath after breath after breath. You have to patiently keep your mind on your breathing. If anything interrupts, you don't respond. If there's a noise, even some extraordinary emergency, you just stay rooted, mindful and aware. Mindful of each in-breath and each out-breath. And mindful of any interruption, the hearing, the seeing, the touching, the tasting, whatever. You're mindful of it and you let it go. But you keep still and you don't look around. No. So please keep your very good and very still posture. And during the next few minutes while I'm talking, please just listen. So from time to time, you might hear or read the story of some great teacher or monk. And it's almost as if, in some cases, they never ever put a foot wrong. They've been kind of saintly beings almost from the very beginning. And it's a little bit too much, in a way. When Ajahn Chah gave his permission for his story to be told, he insisted that his difficulties should be included. Now, people have also portrayed the Buddha in a similar fashion from time to time. But there is recounted one occasion when the Buddha was with a group of monks who'd been having a conversation about his qualities. And he encouraged the conversation to continue with Ananda, relating some of these extraordinary qualities of the Buddha. And it begins with the Buddha living mindful and aware in one of the heavenly realms. This is something to be remembered. That certainly alerts us to the fact that the Buddha had lived lives before this last one of his. And that in fact, it's understood that he'd been in long preparation to become the Buddha over many lifetimes, perfecting the qualities known as the parami. Buddha's teaching makes clear that we don't come into this life without some preparation, without things having happened before. And this was clearly the case with the Buddha himself. I've been thinking about this a little bit because, of course, we're coming up to Wesak or Visakha Puja, when we celebrate the birth, the enlightenment, and the passing of the Buddha. That particular occasion went on to relate the extraordinary things that happened when, having been spending some time in this heavenly realm, at the point of conception, the Buddha, or the Bodhisattva, descended into his mother's womb. We have to make the point again and again, of course, that the Buddha wasn't born the Buddha. He was born as an unenlightened being and was known as the Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva means a being intent on full enlightenment. So for several lifetimes, he'd been perfecting those qualities. And then, having been resident in that heavenly realm, he'd come down into his mother's womb for what would turn out to be his last birth. And the text goes on to describe some extraordinary things that happened there, with his mother living a very pure and blameless life. Until eventually the birth takes place. And some of you know this, that he is supposed to have been born, he was born in the Lumbini garden. His mother was standing as he was born, and he was immediately on his 2 feet and walking 7 steps before surveying the world and declaring that he was the foremost in the world and that this would be his last birth. Now that, of course, seems to many people pretty far-fetched. But there it is, that was mentioned on this occasion with the Buddha present. But then it said that Another extraordinary thing should be remembered of the Buddha, another extraordinary quality. And that is, and it almost as if this is supposed to trump all these previous miraculous experiences. It says that then you should remember that the Buddha knew his feelings as they arise and as they pass away. That he would know, he knew his perceptions as they arise and pass away. That he knew all his thoughts as they arise and pass away. We have these miraculous and extraordinary things that are then trumped completely by this perfect mindfulness, this amazing mental capacity. And that's what's really special. And we should be very mindful of this and contemplate and think about this. What is most important, what is really special, is a perfectly developed mind. And that should be an instruction to us and an inspiration for us. This is what we have to do. Never mind all the miraculous things that might have happened. This is what's really of importance. Because as the Buddha would say, mind precedes all things. Mind made are they. If you speak or act with an impure mind, then suffering follows, as the wheel of the hoof of the ox. But if you speak or act with a pure mind, then happiness follows as the shadow that never leaves. So, the importance of cultivating mindfulness and awareness and developing a pure mind, a mind that is free of all greed, hatred, and delusion. And this, of course, is a very big thing. When we practice, as we have this evening, and you're cultivating mindfulness and awareness, you can't help notice that your mind moves. Perhaps you might be one of the fortunate ones who can really concentrate extremely well. But even if you do attain to some kind of absorption, still, at some point, you will come out of it. Ajahn Chah once said to me of the jhana absorptions, they're like being under a great shade tree on a very hot and sunny day. And it's cool, it's sublime. But sooner or later, you have to come out and it's still hot. And when you do come out of that absorption, you will see your imperfect mind. Of course, when you see it with that kind of clarity, you have an advantage to know the nature of your mind. But however you do it, that's what's important. To be able to see and understand how whatever you're experiencing, whatever thoughts and feelings and so forth, they're all impermanent. They come and they go. This is the nature of our existence. We often say when things are going badly for us, we've had a bad day, always one thing after another. Yes, that's life. It's one thing after another. One consciousness, one experience, one feeling, one thing after another. And run together, it creates for us an illusion, just like the pictures run at speed create the illusion on the screen. The illusion for us is one of self and permanence. Watch your mind carefully and you see something else. When you're practicing mindfulness and awareness, and the two go together. Mindfulness is, in part, remembering to be aware, remembering to be here and now, remembering to be really present. We're terribly forgetful beings. And even though we've been instructed again and again to cultivate mindfulness and awareness, what happens? Suddenly, somewhere or other, we kind of wake up. How did I get here? What was I doing? Did I lock the door or not? Did I turn the gas off or not? We can't help it. Even though we've been instructed and we try to practice, we forget. And so we have to remember. An important element in this practice of being mindful and aware is to remember to be here and now, to remember to be mindful and aware. And when we do practice, and practice that well, then we begin to see things about ourselves that were unknown to us. And our mind concentrates. And it concentrates in such a way that our understanding develops. And that, again, is important for us, that our mind is properly focused. The direction of our mindfulness and awareness has to be towards knowing and understanding. It's a fantastic tool, but like many tools, it could be used for unskillful purposes, but not as part of the Noble Eightfold Path, where it's preceded by right speech, right action, right livelihood. The practice of each of which requires that you be mindful and aware. This is crucial. Mindfulness is followed by investigation. When you become really mindful and aware, then your mind naturally investigates the nature of things. Understanding arises from that, and it's understanding that will free you from suffering. So, just reflect on that. The importance of training your mind, the importance of being mindful and aware, just like the Buddha describes that, knowing your feelings as they arise and as they pass away, knowing your perceptions as they arise and as they pass, knowing your thoughts as they arise and as they pass, knowing their nature, developing this acute mindfulness and awareness. So that's enough for now. We'll sit for another moment or two, and in these closing moments, please concentrate your minds on loving kindness for yourself and for others. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagavan Buddhang Bhagavantam Abhivade Smargato Bhagavata Namo Dhamman Namassari Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Namami. So, thank you all very much for coming. Very nice to see you all. Have a good weekend, and I hope we meet again soon.